Good evening, good morning, wherever it is where you're at. Hello. It's 2025. It's not even the second week of the year, and it has been wild so far. I've got a cold. I'm sick. I can't sleep. I figured, you know what? I'm supposed to be up in an hour for work. Might as well make this video. Man, what a wild ride it's been. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I was going to be a competitive powerlifter and that I would compete at Worlds, I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. If you would have told me 5 years ago that you're going to be putting videos on YouTube, you're going to be doing this regularly, I would have said, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you would have told me 3 months ago that I would have 6,000 subscribers and people would be hitting me up regularly for training advice, I would have said, I don't know what you're talking about. Things just keep happening, and it's all good. And I just want to express extreme gratitude. But, man, there is so much going on. First and foremost, I'm sick, but that's nothing. You know, we all get colds, we all get sick, we all get the crud. You just soldier up and do what you got to do. The exciting thing is that my wife finally got her hip surgery, and that means she's going to be able to start progressing. I miss my training partner. I miss my gym rat. We used to have so much fun going to the gym together. She's going to be on her own fitness path, and her as my new channel manager. I'm hoping that I'll be able to incorporate her into my content, but ultimately that's going to be her decision. And for her, it's a very private thing. You know, she doesn't like where she's at physically, and she's embarrassed by herself. I think she's perfect just the way she is. I don't care if she never changes from here until whenever. Like, I love her just the way she's at. She's perfect. But I understand after getting sick or taking some time off, getting physically strong, losing that little bit of fat you put on. I think it was my 5th or 6th year when I was in powerlifting, still a natural lifter. I got really, really sick, and my total dropped from like a high 1400s down to barely over 1,000 pounds, and I competed. I think I finished with an 1,100 pound total. Still somehow managed to win first place, which shows you how many people our age are competing. Whatever, that medal meant nothing to me. When they were handing that medal to me, I was just sad. I could barely get a 500-pound deadlift. As a matter of fact, I failed the first attempt. And, you know, everybody knew me there. They knew I had competed in a couple of years, but they were looking at me like, hey, what the hell happened to you? I was like, guys, I'm making a comeback. What should I do for my second attempt? He said, well, you probably should repeat the same weight. I said, screw that. Put 5 pounds on it. We're going for it. I got it. It was a grinder. I didn't go for a third attempt. You know what? They said, you just be happy with that. Just take it. Take the minor win. Welcome back. We'll see you in another year. Fast forward to today, and I lost my leg. I was in traction for a couple of weeks. I blew my shoulder out. I thought that was going to end my benching career. I hurt my back. You know, I thought that was done then. And we've evolved and gotten through each one of those injuries. And now my content's slowly evolving from just some schmuck ego lifting in his garage to somebody who's gained a lot of physical therapy experience in the trenches with both healthcare professionals and other lifters. And what we're evolving into is a legitimate place that you can come to get help if you can't perform the functions that you used to be able to perform. Now, the caveat is I'm not a doctor. I have access to a lot of awesome resources, physical therapists, registered nurses. My wife, she's a microbiology student, UNLV. I have a chemistry background, engineering. That has nothing to do with the medical field, but you know, it lends itself towards the ability to disseminate research papers and that kind of thing. I know what I'm looking at when I'm reading things, and altogether, you know, we're kind of piecing together a neat little team that's focused on holistic healing and progressing under duress, meaning you're broken, we'll help fix you and get you on your way. That's pretty much, I've been the Frankenstein, I've been the test. Now, in this video, you can see, I've taken up Muay Thai. I did boxing for the last 6 months. I don't really have much footage of that for reasons that I've told you guys. But people say, why at the age of 50 are you training combat sports? What are you trying to prove? Well, a couple things. One, I wanted to prove that I could really put my money where my mouth is. One, does getting big and jacked really hinder your ability to fight? Two, can a person my age get good enough to hold his own in, like a legitimate sparring match or a fight, whether, sanctioned or in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, can a guy like me hold my own against a decent fighter? And 3, I think it really helps with your cognitive abilities, meaning if you can make good decisions under duress. For example, if I'm punching you in the face and you're not freaking out thinking, and you're able to read me and counter me because you see an opening, you've not lost your faculties due to the fight or flight response. You can actually make critical thinking decisions under duress. That's ability that translates to almost everything we do in life. That could be a situation at work where there's an emergency. That could be a situation at home where there's an emergency. That could be a situation when you're driving down the road and you come across a car accident. Anything where you can keep your cool in a stressful situation, that's what fight training is. And I think that's something that everybody should cultivate because it's just going to help in every endeavor that you do. So for me, there's a variety of reasons. Plus, you know what? I got that little wounded inner child that got picked on as a kid, and I just want to see if I can become a badass. Is it possible to teach an old dog new tricks? Well, I got into this thinking that I was a lot more skilled than I really was, and it's been a very, very, very humbling experience. But the coach at this facility said, you know what? Everybody that walks in that door is the new guy. Everyone is humbled. Every single fighter he's ever had walk through his doors and train with him was the new guy that didn't know shit. And that's me. And he said, look at them now. A lot of them are professional fighters. Some of them are trainers. A lot of them are really competent. And even if you don't have any intention of fighting, if you just like the fellowship and you just want to get good, it's just like powerlifting. It's a community of people pursuing like-minded endeavors, and you get to share that together. And that's exactly, powerlifting, boxing, Muay Thai, Olympic weightlifting, golf, whatever it is that you're into. It's good to dive into it with other people and do that together. And that's what we're kind of cultivating here on YouTube. It's like, it just blows me away. I have 6,000 subscribers. Like, how did that happen? That's not a lot. I know it's not a lot because I talk to people with way bigger channels. I'm starting to get big enough now where people that would not even talk to me before are now at least entertaining my comments, and that's kind of cool. And it kind of shows the same slow, steady grind that I've had to go through my entire life. I've never had anything just handed to me. I never just showed up and won the lottery. Or, well, there was this one time where the Buffalo Grove Police Department was hosting a bike rally, and I had the crappiest Huffy 10-speed known to man. All the kids picked on me. And I went to the bike rally, and it was sponsored by the police station. And they had a raffle for this badass tricked out Diamondback. It was like at the time when BMX was super popular. And while I was doing the bike rally, my Huffy fell apart. It literally broke, and I had no way of getting home. I won the raffle. So that was the one time where, like, hey, God's like, hey, kid needs a bike. Here's a bike. Here you go. Cool, man. I came up. I traded in my Honda Civic for a Ferrari. I know Diamondbacks kind of lost their status in the bike world, and now you can buy them at Walmart. But at the time, back in the day, man, if you showed up with a Diamondback or a Haro, you were happening. Hell yeah, Mongoose, man. So that was the one time I did come up. But everything else, I can't remember a single thing where in order for me to excel at it, I had to grind slow, steady improvement with a chip on my shoulder because I always had people tell me, you can't do it. Maybe people tell me I shouldn't do it, but what I heard is you can't. When you tell me I can't do something, that's me saying, screw you, I'm going to show you just because resentment. And for a long time, that chip drove me. It drove me to make awful decisions, but it turned me into the little gladiator that I am now. I don't want them to have the same problems I did growing up, but I want them to understand the drive required, the discipline, the motivation, and all that you need to have in order to excel. And if you happen to be gifted and good at something, it'll come that much easier. Having interest in something's great. Having motivation to be good at something is great. But really what it comes down to is discipline. You have to force yourself to do the things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them. learning to love the process, starting wherever you're at. Every time I got injured and I thought it was the end of my career, the first thing I did was lament the fact that I'd lost everything I'd worked towards to get up to that point. And what I found helped me the most was to adjust my mindset to where, rather than me trying to get back to where I was and comparing what I had lost, I was starting fresh from a new point, and that's my new starting. That's my new zero, and I move forward. And I found that it really helped to learn to love the process. Even though my subscriber count has gone up to 6,000 in the last couple of months, which is incredible, I still have to remain humble because I was digging into the statistics. And as you can see when I post these long form videos or my shorts, I'm still only getting a couple hundred views per video, which means a lot of people are tuning into my live streams, but there's still not a really, really big interest in the content I'm creating. So I'm trying to find out what it is you guys like about watching me on my live streams, and I'm trying to incorporate more of that into what I'm doing when I'm talking to you here. But I still want it to be useful information. I figured I'm not going to change a whole lot for YouTube because I don't want to. I mean, if people aren't interested in the content I'm creating, and I'm always wanting to improve on like the presentation, the quality, the sound effects, the whatever, the title, the screens, the lettering, the thumbnails, all that, sure. But as far as like me pandering in order to get more views or trying to game the system, it's just not going to happen. But we definitely have our sight forward. When I'm not really thinking about all the past stuff and the things that I got mired in my first couple of years on YouTube. Today we were doing a live stream, and it was a lot of fun. I got one of my friends, a couple of my friends, and we had an open invitation for all the people that were trolling me and had issues with me to come out and say what you want to say. And they didn't. They were ducking me, even though they were on before I got on. They did not come on after I got on. And it really bummed me out because it's like, with all the crap you guys talked for how many years, here's your chance to get in there and really rail on me. And it was an open invitation, and you guys ducked me. What is up with that? For all the crap you guys talked, I thought you were sterner. And what am I going to do? We're just going to have a good laugh and move on, right? I don't know. It disappointed me. I was really disappointed. For any of you new content creators that are trying to make a channel, one thing I noticed is all the small channels, when you put yourself in the fitness section of YouTube, there's this tendency for, I don't know how the algorithm works, but whoever you talk to when you first start posting videos is who you're going to be associated with. So you start interacting with this person, and then you're kind of tied to him and his friends, and it kind of creates this little tree that branches out. And I found for a good 3 years, I seem to be stuck in this alley of YouTube where these denizens of the fitness community would just sit there and talk crap to each other. It was and if you didn't know what it was, you didn't see it for what it was, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and take it personal. Then I kind of learned after messing around with a few of them and getting to know a few people that they're mostly just dudes kidding around. They're looking for a good laugh. And they're like me when I was a young Marine, and we had our buddies. We used to just kind of poke at each other and have a good time. But there are a couple of malicious players, and it was an open invitation for those specifically to come out and say what they wanted to say, and they didn't. They just blew me off. So it's all good. I'm going to continue to do that, like once or twice a week. I'm going to dedicate a little bit of my time to trying to do a split stream with another content creator and see what we can't generate. And I'm going to continue to keep doing the live workouts. I'm getting a lot of subscribers from those, and the engagement's been really enjoyable. But I don't know. I just wish I could figure out how to transfer that to the content I like to create. These presentations that I do, and it just shows me that I shouldn't get too high on this little bit of tiny success that I've gotten, because it's not as even though it looks like I'm getting a lot of views, and I am for the live streams, it's not as solid as it appears to be. I think people are coming on handfuls at a time, so at any given time I might have a high count of a couple hundred people, and on a low count I might have 30 or 40, but that's constantly turning over, so people aren't staying around very long on average. I'm getting, like, the people that do stick around tell me that they thoroughly enjoy my banter and, you know, the crap I'm talking to everybody and the crap they talk to me. So we'll definitely keep doing that. But it would be interesting to hear the opinions of the people that just come and see for a few seconds and then leave, like what their thoughts were. And in YouTube, I've noticed it's either like people are really, really friendly and encouraging, or they're just unreasonably terse and rude for no reason. It's like, you know, nobody just gives you like a little bit of honest criticism. They like try to cut you to the bone, you know. It's like people are taking out their frustrations on other people they don't like, and it's kind of hard to get useful information from that, even if it is kind of funny to read them. But anyways, this is an open invitation for anybody who's interested in streaming with me. Like, just hit me up and we'll try to set something up. I'd like to have a topic of discussion or some kind of a theme. I think tonight my goal was just to get online with everybody that's had something to say to me for the last 2 years and just give them a forum to let me have it and see if we couldn't create something fun. But like I said, they pushed out. I don't know. I don't understand what people are afraid of. You know what I mean? It's like, what am I going to do? Get a car and drive to your state? And even if I was that upset with you, it's like, we're grown men. I don't know. It's just weird. It shows me that a lot of those, like, if they're either trying to be fun and it's going over our heads and we're taking them too seriously, or they're deeply disturbed, and that's kind of, it makes me sad. It makes me sad if like somebody's genuinely upset by something that I've produced or said, because I hold no one any ill will whatsoever. Even people that have said really hateful things to me, like at the end of the day, it's like, I don't take myself that seriously, you know, like, why should you? I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I can't breathe through my nose, and I actually had to use the nebulizer earlier, and I think the albuterol is keeping me awake. Because I should be in bed right now. I need sleep. But I just wanted to say, like, it's been a blast. You guys, this last month, doing these live streams, interacting with you guys, it's been a lot of fun. And it's really revitalized my lifting. It really has. Because, you know, I've had these goals. My goals are to get in the USPA Hall of Fame and maybe get in the conversation of being one of the better older lifters. And when they talk about, like, you know, when it does come up in the conversation, the guys that are older, I want them to say, oh yeah, remember that Charlie dude? Yeah, that guy was pretty strong. You know, he was, well into his fill in the blank age, 60s, 70s. I don't know how long I can keep this going for. And, you know, I'm putting up some really, really good numbers for my age. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, my numbers compared to the open division guys, the younger guys in my same weight class are not comparable. Like, there's guys, you know, if I'm putting up a 1,700 total in my gym, those guys that are younger in the open division in their 20s and 30s are putting up well over 2,000 pounds. So, but let's see how they are when they get to my age. The old boy's doing all right, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just, you know, I missed all those years because I was an addict, and I feel like I lost 10 years of my life, and maybe I'm making up for it. I don't know. But we're going to keep going and just see how far we can push it until it becomes unreasonable. And what does that mean? I'm not really worried about getting hurt, but I am worried about longevity because my children are still young, and I want to make sure that I'm around for them when they're going to need me the most. And I would be remiss if I did something that crippled myself to the point where I wasn't useful or I became a burden to my family. So a lot of that's in the back of my head. Like right now, everything's healthy. Got a green light from the doctor. I'm firing on all cylinders. I'm strong. And, you know, he's telling me, like, dude, you're like a 25, 30-year-old. Yeah, I know that's not true, but, you know, I understand what he's saying. I'm still good to go. How long am I going to ride this out for? I don't know. I'm having a good time. This is something I never really got to experience in my youth. Like I said, I was a gladiator, had to grind for everything I ever had. And now it's like, you know, I'm finding a time in my life where I'm actually enjoying being who I am as a person. And this is a part of that calculus. So I'm going to keep it going. And if you guys have any ideas or thoughts, or, you know, you think if you see something that could help, you know, move me in a positive direction, or you see something you don't like, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. If you guys need any help, if there's anything I can do for you, I try to be available. I really do make a genuine effort to answer all the comments. Sometimes it takes me a while to get through them. I work full time, I just don't have time to sit around and be on YouTube all day like some people. Like I don't know how you guys find the time to have all these alternate accounts and just be chirping away at people, but it seems like it must be nice. But I'm gonna try to get ready for work, and until then, I love you guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.